Good morning. It's the 17th of May 2024, and this is the third edition of my military collection, and hopefully it'll probably be the last one you guys get to watch. This is a bedroom that's our guest room. It's the overflow and stuff that you have not seen over the last 4 years, because it's been 4 years since Mel Squires, the lady that does these videos for me, has been able to get down here and do this video. I'm thankful to her, and I appreciate all the people that have sent their comments, and keep collecting. That's all I can tell you, and be patient. Okay, we'll start with some of the stuff that is in here. The first uniform on the right as you come in the door is a Marine Corps General's uniform. It's a dress mess. It's got the red vest. Colonels and below have a cummerbund. This is dated 1959 or 58 inside. I know who the owner is, and I think this is a complete uniform. It's one of the better Marine Corps uniforms that I've been able to obtain over the years. So that's probably number one on my list of my uniforms. And I've got number 2 down here I want to show you. It's from 1924. It's got a bunch of real nice things going for it. It was a Naval Academy graduate from 1924. It's named, and I have all his information on my little information sheet here. His name was Kenneth H. Cornell. He was a second lieutenant in he graduated from West Point or Annapolis in 1924. He went to China in 1937 and 38, and then he came back to the United States and retired as a captain. But this is probably my best Marine Corps uniform that I have. And with the shoulder epaulets, the insignia of rank here, they're very, very, very hard. It's a very rare Marine uniform, and it's probably my best uniform in my collection. I'm just saying that, but it is true. This is a cape, or a Marine Corps dress cape in uniform of a colonel. It's dated 1907. The cape is. This uniform's a little bit later. I just put it on there. I need a pair of pants to go with it, and that'll finish this one. Those are 3 Marine Corps uniforms that I'm very happy with and were able to find. And I guess we'll go on to some other stuff over here in the corner. Okay, this is a collection of Thunderbird uniforms. Most of them are the jackets. The flight suits, I have several that we're going to continue to look at downstairs. But this is a Blue Angels uniform. It's the maintenance personnel that work on the aircraft. I have a blue coat, another blue coat, and a blue weather. It's like the MA1 jackets, but it's in blue. These are all Air Force issue jackets that are available online. I've patched them. I put patches on them, and I put the insignia on them and the flags that I've been able to find. The original uniforms are very, very hard to come by, so I've done what I could on my Thunderbirds collection to keep it. They're not reproduction because they're real uniforms issued by the Air Force with Air Force patches and name tags, but they're not original Thunderbirds to the pilots. But it's for display, and I've done what I can without paying, more money than I ever can. So it gives the collectors an idea that they don't have to go out and pay $800 for a Thunderbirds uniform that they can actually create or have tailored or made for $30 or $40, maybe $50. It's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier, and it's just as authentic as the ones the pilots wore. If you're a realist and a guy like me, you're not happy with them, but they'll suffice. And that's part of the Thunderbird collection. I do have 3 uniforms that belong to pilots and some other people that were associated with the Thunderbirds and Blue Angels. But these are all made-up uniforms. I made the scarves. Actually, this is the ascots that they would have worn, and then I took patches and cut out the centers and added the Thunderbird patches to them. But they had blue, red, white, green, and gray. And somebody told me the Thunderbirds actually had a maroon color uniform for a couple seasons. But I have not been able to find any of the maroon uniforms, so I can't verify that, but I'm still searching. 2 jackets here. This is an MA1 jacket from the Air Force, and this is a flight bag from the Thunderbirds. And the name tags have been made up, so I don't know. You know, Colleen Wise was the public affairs officer, and I do have her original uniforms. I have 2 that we'll go to later to look at. They're on mannequins, full-size mannequins. It's my Thunderbird stuff, and I wanted to go over here and talk about this lady. I'm still doing my female uniforms. This is a military police female uniform from 1978 or 77 in Germany from the Armed Forces Police. Name tag. I was able to acquire the MP rope and the lanyard that goes on the 45 approximately 2 weeks ago. So that one's finally completed, and this uniform I've had in the collection for almost 40 years, and it's finally completed. So be patient, and things will come around. All you have to do is keep looking, and it's out there. Guys like me, all this stuff's going to be gone to somebody, and they'll have an opportunity to finish some of their stuff in their collections, hopefully. Basically, I've got this 1923 to 25 Coast Guard uniform over here, and that's General Wagstaff's Army dress mess general's uniform, and I have his other one downstairs. This is a MP or security police female that I've done. Basically, that's this grouping here, and over on the other side over there is a bunch more uniforms that I've managed to collect. I've got a World War I uniform, a Navy flight officer's flight suit, 1938 to 40 dress blues, Army, and a Marine Corps jacket with a helicopter patch on it. And the one back there in the far back, I have an MP female back there that I've been working on, and the camouflaged one back there is Tiger Stripes from Vietnam. It's a Marine uniform. It's pretty hard to find. And I have these 2 here, which this is Coast Guard. I still need the U.S. I need the blue name tag. It says U.S. Coast Guard to put on this one to finish. And this is the Navy one from 1948 to 1950. And I'm looking for the white naval insignias that go up here on there. There's 2 of them. They got Navy anchors that go up here, and I don't have those yet. And I've seen them, but they're $35, $40 a set. So I'm not so sure that I can't find them a little bit cheaper than that, hopefully. And then we go back in here, and I've got a few more uniforms that we'll look at in just a minute. These are 2 helmets that I've managed to put together. They were all pieces and parts. Back in the 80s and 90s, I bought 2 or 3 big boxes full of parts from a surplus store, and I've been replacing the visors, the microphones, the slides, and putting decals on them. That was all handmade by me. The one on the right, it's all cut out of vinyl. I use vinyl sticky stuff and cut out the stars and the striping. The one on the left is actually a real helmet. That was purchased, and it's like the one that's on the Navy Aviator over there. They're both from the same squadron. So that's part of my helmet collection. I have approximately 40 helmets that I've restored, painted, and decaled. So there's some more that are coming on this video that are down in my museum. I have another helmet that's hid away back in that corner over here by the Marine. It's a Marine Navy helmet with F4s on it that I decorated and refurbished. And I have one more in this area right here on the floor that is a helicopter helmet. It still needs parts. I need the slide that goes right here, and I need there's something else I need. Anyway, it's not quite finished. I need the slide over here, but I put it on a rotating Lazy Susan, so if you want to see the front and the back, you can just turn it around. It's a good way to display helmets. I made the helmet stand from a lampshade or lamp. That's the base of a lamp. There's all kinds of things you can do to display helmets, and you don't have to stick them up there or put them directly on the floor if you don't have a mannequin or something to put them on. And they're nice. They make a good display. Helmets make a good display, but unfortunately, back when I started collecting, you could buy pieces and parts. Nowadays, you can't afford to buy them. They're really too expensive for the normal guy to get into collecting helmets anymore. So I do what I can to get them fixed and displayed. This is a collection of Thunderbirds and a couple Blue Angel uniforms. This is the maintenance. He was the guy that painted the airplanes. There's actually paint on here from one of the Thunderbird or one of the Blue Angels, the F-18 Legacy Hornets that they flew at the time. And there's actually grease down here from an F-16. So, and I do know it's original, and it's got U.S. Navy on the back, and it's all embroidered. It's got the guy's name on it, and I found that online about 2 months ago. So it's one of the newer things. The Blue Angels and Thunderbirds put out posters. They were all free giveaways at the air shows. I've added the 50th anniversary patch to this because Donnie Cochran was the #1 pilot at the time, and there's a name tag here. But you can do all kinds of, each year they put out 1 or 2, maybe 3 different posters with the guys' autographs on them, the team's autograph. And they're a collectible thing if you want to put them on the wall for decoration. This is Blue Angels uniform from the 50s and 60s when they were flying the old F9 F Panthers and the I'm trying to think what the other airplanes that they flew, but the A4, it was before the A4s, but that's from the 60s, early 60s. It's international orange. They wore them before they went to their standard blue uniforms that they pretty well wear now. This is a decal. It's vinyl. They used them to go on the side of the airplanes. And I made the frame and put all these little rivets around there to make a display like it's part of an airplane. Rather than put it on a piece of metal, I just put some tape on the back to hold it on so I don't ruin the decal. But they're available. You just have to hunt for them. And there's a guy in Illinois that they print them, so they're available. This is my car garage that we bought with a house. It's attached to my house, and I've turned it into my workshop. I've got all my tools. I've got mannequin parts. I've got some nose art over here that I work on, patches, and I have duck decoys over here that I paint. These are two right now that I'm working on. I have a Navy uniform here that needs to be completed. This is a Coast Guard uniform. And I do all my work out here. I have access to my tools. And over here's some decorations I put out for the Navy. I have Navy insignias that I put in picture frames. And I wanted to show, this is one of the interesting things. These are all submarine patches from the Navy. Different types of, they can go on their plates, well, their jackets. They have a navy blue. It's kind of like a flight suit, and they can put them on there, or they can put them on their leather jackets. But these are all names of ships. They're boats. The Navy calls submarines boats. They're not ships. I think it has to be 118 feet long to be a ship. But these are all patches that I've collected. And I've got squadron patches back here, along with some other Navy stuff that I don't have room to hang anymore. I don't have space in my museum, and I don't have space in that bedroom in there, and downstairs is full. So that's what 50 years of collecting, actually 55 years of collecting will do for you. It'll just give you a lot of stuff and you don't have room. But this is my workshop. So I come out here and kind of enjoy myself. I've got my lounge chair, I've got my refrigerator full of Mountain Dews and Cokes and drinks and stuff that I don't have to run back in and forth when I'm working on projects. But that's where the mannequins start. All the ones I put together downstairs, they come out in pieces. I get an arm and a leg and end up having to hot glue the arms on and redo them and paint them. I have paint, and I have tons of paint that I use to paint my mannequins with. And I've got clocks over there I like to tinker with. I didn't want you guys to think that I was all military and that's all there is. But I have a couple other interests too. And I do a little painting and wood carving. This I made this one. I took a metal heron that I had bought, and I traced it on a 1/2-inch board and cut it out, and then I painted that. And I use them for yard decorations and stuff. But this is my workshop. So I just wanted you to know that I didn't have a whole lot of room to put anything else. I'm getting overflowed. Well, we're back in my basement again, where I have all my new stuff hung and put up on mannequins. These are two female uniforms that I've managed to get together that haven't previously been recorded. This belonged to a one-star general, and this is the tiara that they wore. The Air Force never adopted it. They had it out, and the women didn't like it. The Navy had one that they kept, and the Army had one that they kept. But the Air Force did away with this the same year it was made. This uniform's dated 1958 or 59. And I have, oops, I shouldn't have turned my back on. Brigadier General Ann E. Her first name was Edith Ann Hoffly. She was the first Air Force Chief Nurse Corps. And I have her information and photographs and the uniform's complete. And I have her wings and another blue bag that she carried her stuff in. It says Ann Hoffly on the back. This one is the old black version. This is the new blue version that they came out with. They had a black and a white, and then the Air Force in the 80s came out with this, and it's just all blue now. They don't have a white summer or a black winter uniform like they used to. They just have one. I'll just leave that down there. And those are two new uniforms that I've been able to put together. And we'll go up here and start on my Thunderbird stuff, some more of the uniforms that I've bought online and updated with patches and name tags and photographs. These are all real uniforms, but they're not actually Thunderbird pilots uniforms. I've had the name tags, and I'm still waiting on my guy for this one. He embroiders stuff for me, just like I'll take him a photograph and he'll do the name tags for me, so I can actually have something that's pretty identical to the uniforms. This one over here is a blue from the 70s or 80s. This one's from 1972, and this will give you an idea of what the pilot suit kind of looks like with the helmet. But those are some I've been working on. These are two more that I've worked on. The green and the red, white, and blue over there over there hanging with they were white, red, and blue, and they actually had leather gloves that were yellow, orange color that I was able to find. But that's some of the new items. This lady right here, since we're here, this is 1960s dress white female's uniform with the hat. It's a pretty rare item. I've seen one or two, and I think I know one guy that has one other than me, so they're not very accessible. It's hard to find women's stuff. I've got two more here that are new. This one's from the 50s, and this one's from the 50s. That's a WAC hospital dress, and that's the cord green that they wore. And in Vietnam, they had the cord green, but the buttons were gold, and the stripes were it was a little bit darker color. I have one tucked away back there to compare with, but this is a Army and this is Army. And then I've got Marine Corps stuff over here that's being worked on. All these are being updated for insignia. I'm missing that's complete. This one's complete. But I've got two back there that I'm still working on. I've got shoes. So I haven't really quit collecting. You want to go into the storage room? Whoops. This is new. This is Coast Guard. And I'm missing the name tag over here. This is the 70s in 1970, the Coast Guard established their Coast Guard Academy, and these uniforms came out in 1970. It was a polyester look, but I don't have a name tag for this one yet. And we've got that clothes rack over there is full. This clothes rack over here is full. That clothes rack over there is full. Okay, this white uniform up here is a dress mess uniform from 2019. It's got the new V-type. I guess they're updating their dress mess uniforms. This belonged to a two-star admiral that was at the Air Force Academy, or the Naval Academy, the superintendent. So I still need to do some more research. All the ribbons and everything is what she had, so, and it's named. So I've got to do some more research on that, and I need a mannequin, and I need the hat. I need an admiral's hat for that, even though they are not required. The Navy doesn't require the dress mess hat. They wore a tiara with it, which is optional anymore. But I'm looking for a bucket hat for that. And when it gets finished, I can put it up with the other naval admirals' uniforms. I got female naval admirals. I have another one in the other room we'll talk about in a few minutes. But that's still in restoration. That's still to be completed. And it's called Patience, and eventually I'll get it done. And I want to put that one on a full-size mannequin. This is my other naval admiral's uniform, and this is the lady it's named inside. Her name is Bono. She was the only vice admiral that was in the medical career field. These are the ribbons, her chief of staff badge, and command onshore badge, and the uniform's pretty much complete. I'm looking for a bucket hat to go with this. I've got the side cap for the Navy, but I'd like to have the bucket hat, which is something that I haven't been able to find yet to go with it. But this one's done, and I have a photograph of her and her biography with all her information. So I have that uniform, and it's original. And the one beside it is from 1950s. It's a Navy, she's a petty officer. It's the cord blue. It came out in the early, I want to say 58 or 59. And that's a new uniform that I've got, that made the mannequin and got displayed. This one and this one are new. I've got a couple over here that are still being fixed that are new. The two lady Coast Guard uniforms over there. This one and the one behind her are two new displays. This is a new display that you haven't seen. This is World War I, 1920 Marine with the 6th Machine Gun Battalion, which is, that patch is really, really, really rare. I mean, like, rare. And that's his gas mask bag, and his name was Cook, C-O-O-K. And I do have information on him a little bit. This is a 2-star General's Marine Corps uniform. That's a new display. This is new display. Those are two new items that I have down here, and I'm running out of room. And these are some more jackets that I'm working on. Let's see here. It's this one that I haven't finished. I'm missing one of the little EGAs that go on here on this one, and I need a khaki shirt, and I have the hat to go with that one. But these are all still to be fixed and displayed somewhere. I haven't got a lot of room left, and if you're going to collect, you might as well forget about displaying stuff if you don't have the room. You'll just keep piling stuff on and nowhere to put it. And my wife won't give up any more bedroom space, so this is it. I've got to keep everything down here and in my museum out there in my building. But I've actually done real well for what space we do have. This is some of my military model airplanes that I built 50 years ago, and I started collecting with military airplanes and military wings. The planes were tucked away, and when we moved over here 10 years ago, they've been in boxes, and my wife packs them. She puts them in plastic bags and blew them up. So the airplanes, and put a rubber band around them so there's still air in them, and then we put them in shredded paper, and we put them in double cardboard boxes. Well, after 10 years of sitting, I pulled these out about a month ago, and the ones still up on top, they're all being fixed. A lot of them still need to be put back together. These are what I've got left to work on. These up here on top have been completed. A bunch of them over there have been completed, but I've still got all my airplanes that I started building. I spent a lot of time building them, and now I'm spending a lot of time repairing them. Down here I've got 3 more flight helmets that I've worked on and restored. These are from Desert Storm. They're really well worn where the pilots had pulled down the visors. There's marks in here and marks in here. These were Navy. This was Navy. And this was an Air Force one. That same way here. These were turned into PDO right after the war, and pilots got brand new ones. And this one is a Navy. Well, while we're here, this one's got the cover on top of it, and it's a Navy helmet, but it actually has Velcro holding this cover down. And you don't really see the covers as much on them as you do just a bare helmet. And that's the only one I've got covered in my collection. And I've got some MacArthur stuff over there. I got a Life magazine and a replica hat that I got offline, and they're really shiny. They're made in hold on a minute, not Indonesia. They're made in not Thailand either. Anyway, they're made overseas in Pakistan is where these are being made. They're reproduction. I've weathered this one a little bit, tried to make it a little bit less glossy, but they're the only one MacArthur has that's available. There's no real good reproduction hats of MacArthur's hat, and there's a couple autographs back there in my picture frames. But if you really want a good MacArthur hat, you're going to have to work at it, and you're going to have to learn how to weather it and make it dull, because when that hat came, it was just like a brand new silver dollar. All the brightness in it, and I dull coated the braid on there to see if I couldn't make it less bright. But okay, this is another addition to my collection since the last filming. This is a Brigadier General, I'm sorry, he's a 4-star because he was the Chief of Staff. The braid around the top was for the Chief of Staff and the bill. But it's 1955 or 56, somewhere around there. There's very few of these. They are currently being made. The Air Force still has a Chief of Staff. They still wear this part. But the material on the top, this is the old shade 1804 Air Force shade, which went out probably in 1960, 65, right during the Vietnam period time. So this is a nice addition to my collection. And I've added, I think, maybe this Brigadier General Marine Corps hat that I've added. And I've got a Navy aviation green that's been added. This is from the 50s, 40, 49, 50. It's after World War II, a little bit after. And I've got the gray. The Navy had 4 different cap covers. They had a gray, they had a khaki, they had an aviation green, they had a dress black, and they had the dress white. So there's actually 5 covers to the Navy uniform. So they had to have all 5 covers if you were a Navy officer or even enlisted petty officer. You still had to have all 5 of those combinations when you wore your uniforms. This is a P-84 helmet. It's a helicopter helmet from the Marine Corps. It was in the 80s and 90s, and then it came out with the Osprey. And they used it for the Osprey, and they're still using it in the Marine Corps helicopters. It's kind of a fiberglass helmet. It's not the plastic. It's a newer version, but they've come out with a newer one now to replace that with. So that's an obsolete helmet, but they're still using it in their inventory, or they were here a few years ago. I guess we're back in the museum, updating stuff that you haven't seen that I've updated. I've moved some stuff down here and added some more helmets. These are all new helmets. They're not new helmets, they're helmets that I've been working on over the last 45 years, trying to restore, put together, paint, put decals on them. I've got oxygen masks for some of them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 14 helmets here that I've brought down here and put on display. They're all from the Vietnam War. These are all A6 helmets. I call them A6 helmets. They're they're Navy. They're AP6As. Anyway, they're all kinds of decals, different squadrons, different colors. Each pilot took their helmet when they got on the aircraft carrier, gave it to the guy when he got off. They took the helmet, which was usually a white one. They took it up and they decaled the helmet for him, and they gave back the guy the helmet back. Most of the time, they did it the way they wanted to. The pilot didn't have a whole lot of say-so in what was put on it. The commanders are always, you know, these are for the commanders, the orange, white, and red, so they'll know who they are. But the regular ones were usually, some of them were just given numbers. And this one over here, somebody went way out and checkered it. And a lot of them were just decaled over. And when they got back, they probably never wore their helmet again. They put it in a helmet bag. And when they got back to their next base in the States, they couldn't wear the reflective tape on them anymore. That was during Vietnam. So now they all pretty much, the guys that fly, updated and fixed. These are other ones that I've updated. This is Air Force, and this is Air Force. These three right here are Navy. This is Navy. This is an Air Force one from Desert Storm period, and that's a Marine Corps helmet back here, helicopter helmet. And then I've got one more that's an air gunner's helmet from Vietnam back here on my helmets. So that's some of the helmets in the collection. And I've got still pieces and parts and boxes, and I still got a lot of stuff that needs to get completed. I have these two uniforms here, I believe, are new. I know this one is. This is Navy Commander's Flight Sergeant that I've just did this within the last couple years. This one, I don't believe it's on the first video either, or the second one. So that's two I've added. And we want to go here in a minute to the new Thunderbirds uniforms that I've updated down here. This is a flight suit that belonged to Colleen Wise. Her name is, she got married, her name's changed to Van Nader. She was an ROTC instructor in Ohio. Her name is in the inside of this on the tag, so I know it was issued to her. She's still alive. She's about my age. I know she's got 5 kids. She's got a website, so I pulled it up and tried to find some information. I found some Thunderbird photographs of her that were taken in the 90s. She was from 94 to 96. She was the public affairs officer. She was also stationed in Wright-Patterson, Ohio, in Dayton, the same time I was there in 1987 and 88. Well, maybe it was after 80. Probably about 90, 91 or 92, because I retired in 92. And she was a public affairs officer there, but I never knew that until actually I did some research and found that she actually was involved in some things that I was involved with at the same time. But this is her uniform, the original patch, original cap and bars, the original patch. Everything's original on it except the name tag. The name tag had been taken off. The scarf is one I made, but this name tag I took down. I took a picture of the one that's down here so I'd have a sample, and I had the guy that I know that does professional embroidery made the name tag for me. So this is Colleen Wise's flight suit. It's original. It's one of the 3 that I have on display. And they're really hard to find. And it was probably surplused when she got out, turned into PDO like she was supposed to, because right here it's cut. And apparently somebody has repaired that. So, and it wasn't me, so I don't know what process, where it was displayed. A lot of these uniforms got displayed in different places when the Thunderbirds, when they left. Some of them kept them. If they were lucky enough to keep a uniform, they didn't even let the people keep their patches. The original patches from the Thunderbirds, the Thunderbird crews, they wouldn't give them up. If you lost your patch or something, you could be kicked out as a Thunderbird. That's how serious them keeping the patches were. The Navy was different. The Navy, we got all kinds of stuff from the Navy. The Blue Angels were supposed to turn stuff in, but their pilots kept a lot of it. Some of the air crews kept a lot of it. But the Thunderbirds were pretty tight. They made them turn in everything. And I've read some comments about some of the crew members that said, yeah, we never gave up our patches because we'd get fired, basically. So the original Thunderbird patches are, I won't say non-existent, but they're pretty hard to get. And that's my display for down here. And the only way I got it, I found it, a guy down in Florida had it. It's in Seabreeze, and it was online. And he had that one and a green one. And they were expensive. So, but I knew what they were, and I asked him before I bought them, I said, is there a name in it? They're made by the right company out of California. The name of the Flight Suits Unlimited, or Flight Suits Limited, and Gibson and Byrns makes their other flight suits. But they're the 2. It had everything that it was supposed to have on it. And I bought it. I had the money at time, and I parted with it for that. So it was a good investment, and that's one of the better ones I have. And I have the other green one over here. This is the one from Nellis that they have flight suits. She was the public affairs officer. She got to fly to the air shows in the back seat of number 8 aircraft. It's got the patch. It's got all the patches. The checkered scarf is for Nellis Air Force Base. It's very difficult to find the scarf. And the patch on the other side of when we come around is another patch that went on the other sleeve. And the Colleen Wise name tag, I had that made, so it wasn't with the uniform. And the flight suit bottom, the anti-gravity suit, I added that in the gloves and the hat. But that flight suit's original with this one, and it was expensive. And I don't know why, but this one was probably turned into PDO. There's a stain right under the combat patch. If you can see where it's at, there's a stain right there, and I don't know if it's where she might have got airsick. And but that uniform, that one and that one are 2 originals, and then I have the commander's uniform over here that's original. So that'll be my 3 updated uniforms for this collection for the Thunderbirds. And I've been trying to update a lot of their photographs and stuff that I have, going back to the 50s. And I try to keep track where they're at, and they're still crashing airplanes every once in a while. But I guess that's probably on to the commander's uniform. You're just panning around, aren't you? Good old time. May 17th. What a beautiful Armed Forces Day, right? Okay, this is a uniform I got from a guy in Texas. They had it in a plexiglass case. It's commander's uniform from the Thunderbirds. The name tag over there I had made because they had the word leader on there, I attached over the top with tape. I didn't ruin the uniform putting that on there. It also has the original Lieutenant Colonel's bars or insignia here, but this is just taped over the word leader. So I'd have that, so I didn't ruin the original flight suit. I didn't want to do that. I got flight gloves. This is an original patch. These are original. This is original. I used a t-shirt and made this. This is a reproduction. The oxygen mask is real. This is a reproduction helmet out of Indonesia. It's all plastic. There's not any workable part. It's not a functional helmet. All it does is look good because it's all airbrushed in the back. They've got the beautiful paint job on it. But I can't find a real Thunderbirds helmet, and I'm not going to pay $5,000 for one just to put on my mannequin. These are expensive enough. But I painted the two receivers here. I added the word Mike and the number here and the number here so it matched this. And then back here I hung a mirror behind it so you can walk around and see the, if you come over here you can actually see it, see the back of the helmet where they, but that's all hand painted. They do a beautiful job. It's just that none of it's real. The receivers are plastic, the shield's plastic, but it's what's available that I can find. I do have some early Thunderbird patches. These came from Lieutenant Colonel that retired from the Thunderbirds. That these three came from, and they're early. They're really hard to find. These three right here, and they were the early F-100 collected patches, and they're from the F-105, 67 to 68, from the F-105s. But yeah, that's one you don't see every day. This is a reproduction patch, and that's a reproduction patch. The original patches were all sewn with thread, if you notice this. And they all had a space between them, like here. A lot of the ones you see, what you get and you buy a reproduction patch, which there's thousands of them out there, the blue goes right into the red. But these are original three patches. And for anybody that's collecting Thunderbird stuff, they're going to have to fight over it when they come here. Oh, that's not good. I'm going to have another broken picture frame if I'm not catch, because it's not. But still, they actually took the time and they did the background and filled it all in. But there's a lot of these out there for $6 and $8 and $10. These are $8 and $10. But the real ones are like $350, $400 if you can find them. Yeah, this one's new. This one is my Shore Patrol Navy uniform. This is a new uniform that's been on display. That I've got the badge and the she was a petty officer, but she was security or Shore Patrol. I have Navy, Marine, Army, Air Force, and this is my Navy MP, SP uniform. Those helmets over there are new. These are some more of my helmets that I've put on display. This is pretty much a new display right here. I think we talked about the flag being the last flag in SAC, the Security Police 321st Security Police Squadron. This is a helmet liner for security police. It's got the SAC decal on on both sides. And this is an MP Army, and that's an MP for the Marine Corps. And all these were liners to helmets that I've repainted, and I put the vinyl stickers on them. And I bought a bunch of these sack patches or decals, but when I put them in the water to put them, they were old and they just came apart. So I had to end up, I used decoupage and went over the top of them to keep them together. But the first two sets that I used were totally, it's experimenting. But those have all been repainted, their display. I have an MP helmet, original, down in my other building. I have one security police original helmet. It's back there in a box. So, but it's all beat up. It was pretty well neglected over the years. And that's the security police display and the military police display. And that's all the new stuff that I've got. I mean, down here. So I add a little bit, and I take a little bit out, and I change it around every once in a while to make it a little bit more presentable. But I try to keep it clean, and I have a air conditioning and dehumidifier in here. It keeps the temperature at 70 degrees all year round, and I try to keep the humidity down here at least 50, between 45 and 50. So the uniforms are in a good environment. And the same way in the basement over there, I got two dehumidifiers over there that keep the moisture and stuff off of them. But stuff still gets old and falls apart. And especially a lot of uniforms that were made overseas in Hong Kong, and the thread they used over there, the seams come loose, and it's all breakable and perishable. And but this is my order of the longleaf pine, presented back in 2016. Yeah.